Welcome back. Well, ISIS is calling the 18-year-old Ohio State student who launched an attack on campus Monday a soldier of the terrorist group. Just moments ago, Donald Trump tweeted, quote, ISIS is taking credit for the terrible stabbing attack at Ohio State University by a Somali refugee who should not have been in our country. Joining us right now is London Center for Policy Research Senior Fellow, Lieutenant Colonel Tony Shaffer. Colonel, good to see you. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
ISIS claiming the attack was part of its call to strike international coalition countries. Your reaction?
Well, absolutely. Look, this is a tactic that's been very effective for them. They've called for this. They put out a video. They actually have a training manual online. I mean, this is a specific and effective methodology that they've employed. You don't have to have guns or bombs to be a terrorist. And I just take great exception to the way some of the folks in the mainstream media have tried to portray this and explain it away and say there's no motive for the attack. Completely insane. We've seen this in Minnesota. We've seen attacks like this in California. We've seen attacks like this in Canada. So, you know, any intelligence officer worth their salt is going to say there's a pattern here. So I think we have to accept that this is a methodology that ISIS is employing because it works. And we still have people in the Obama administration not being willing, and I'll add to that Governor Kasich, who accepted 85,000 of these refugees into Ohio, who are just living in an alternate universe, somehow believing that radical Islam is not behind this push, and ISIS in particular is trying to be the cutting edge and try to put these sort of attacks forward.
Wow, I didn't realize it was 85,000. Mike Becker, they also said in their magazine, ISIS magazine, they recommended on Thanksgiving Day to drive trucks into the crowds of the Thanksgiving Day parade.
Absolutely.
Tony's absolutely correct. And the issue is sometimes here in the U.S., we're the ones who get wrapped around the axle over the wording of all this. Is he directly controlled? Is it a lone wolf? It doesn't matter from ISIS' point of view or from the extremist point of view. And they're absolutely correct in claiming credit for this. Tony, if I could ask you, and it's good to see you this morning, by the way, if I could ask, how important is it, and how do you get to the point where you can gain the trust of the Muslim communities in order to have a mother or a father or a sister or a cousin pick up the phone in a case such as this, as a lone wolf, and say, I think we've got a problem in our family with an individual?
Right. I think there's two ways you do it, Mike. First, you know, I work with some moderate groups in England. The Association of British Muslims are actually having an outreach conference in February that they want people to show up at. And they're trying to basically build trust because, let's face it, this individual would have killed anyone in the Islamic faith as well who didn't believe like him. That's the whole issue here. It's not about Islam. It's about the fact you have a very severe form of Islam. It's like a virus trying to subsume and consume everything else. So you have to build bridges to those inside the community. Second, then, we have to work more closely, as you point out, Mike, with families. These sorts of things tend to run through a family. A lot of the time, these individuals start being radicalized at 11 years old. It's like a grooming process. So I think we have to start looking internally on how to actually increase the ability of families to identify this sort of thing early on.
Colonel, good to see you. Thank you so much.
Great. Hey, thank you.
Lieutenant Colonel Tony Shaffer joining us there. Coming up